supposed to make of PPG, the specialty chemical company? It's a leading producer of all sorts of proprietary glass paints and coatings, although much less glass in the old days. We're going to cover that. PPG has a terrific long-term track record, but last year the company stumbled under the weight of the super freaking strong dollar, stock coming down 15% in 2015. And while the stock's bounced back 7% year to date, it's still down more than $10 from its highs here. Opportunity? Some of that's because when PPG reported last week, the company delivered a less than perfect quarter. PPG posted in-line earnings, slightly weaker than expected revenues, down 0.9% year over year. The stock got hit, fell $1.50 in response, and in the 6 days since then, it's come down from 110 to 106. However, I think it's important to note that while the headline numbers were only okay, PPG's management was extremely confident on their subsequent conference call, saying that volumes would pick up in the third quarter. Could be big buybacks coming. So, should we be concerned about the second quarter that's in the rearview mirror or enthusiastic about the rest of the year? Let's check in with Michael McGarry, the CEO and president of PPG, who will become chairman as well when his predecessor, Chuck Bunch, old favorite of the show, retires from the job in September. Get a better sense of what the company's up to. Mr. McGarry, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thank you, Jim. It's great to be back and appreciate your continued interest in PPG.
Of course, Michael. Now, when I got in the business of stocks, not the business of glass, your company was called Pittsburgh Plate Glass. You do not make plate glass anymore, do you?
Well, we haven't made plate glass for a long time. We moved into the float glass business, but as you know, during this quarter, we made a decision to sell our flat glass business. Been in it since 1883, but by the end of the year, we'll be out of the flat glass business.
If that's the case, should you rename the company?
No, I don't think so. We've been named PPG since 1968. We're going to continue in that. Obviously, as you know, we've been talking the strategies continue to be in coatings and specialty products, and we're the world's leader in that area, and we're going to continue to focus on that.
Well, one of the reasons I'm, it's, of course, somewhat facetious, but when I ran through your unbelievably great presentation at the Investor Day on June 14th, I was struck by the fact that coatings is a technology business. I mean, for instance, super lightweight sealants save 2,200 pounds on a wide-body jet. You're doing things with coatings that are really about Internet of Things more than they are just colors.
Oh, absolutely, Jim. When you look at our technology, whether it's lightweighting, whether it's fuel economy, giving more color choices, heat management for Airbus, I mean, there's a lot of technology. You know, people always say, oh, do you watch paint dry? Absolutely not. We watch paint grow. We watch the volumes grow. This has been a very good business for us, and it's very technology-driven. Our investors have enjoyed that.
So when people speak of coatings, it's a much more proprietary business. You're not up against a bunch of paint companies. This is not Sherwin-Williams versus PPG on these deals.
Well, when you look at acquisitions, there are folks we compete against on the industrial side, and then when it's on the architectural, the house paint side, there's a different set of competitors. We're the biggest global company in this area, and we're going to continue to make acquisitions as we move forward.
All right, you're a straightforward guy, and you say in the middle of your conference call that you underperformed in the U.S. on autos, even though you were outperformed in Europe, outperformed in Asia. Why is that, and should we be concerned?
Well, you absolutely should not be concerned, Jim. I mean, when I think about what your viewers are interested in, it's the total macro market. How much paint are we selling? You know, we kept outperforming the market 4 years in a row. And obviously, some of these customers get nervous when you get that big. And so when we had a choice on where our next growth would come from, we'd rather be growing in Europe, where there's a lot more growth potential, and Asia, where there's a very long-term growth potential. In the U.S., we see it in the 8th inning. And so, you know, we took our choices, and we decided to take business more in Asia.
I've been doing a lot of work on electric vehicles in China, and it's just exploding. The number of car companies Phil LeBeau's talked about. Are you able to get into that Chinese business in a big way? Are the Chinese comfortable with PPG in there?
Jim, the Chinese absolutely love us. We're the #1 painter of OEM cars in China, whether it's a global OEM or a local. Whether it's a small car, a big car. As you know, the SUV market has been exceptionally hot in China, and that's been very good for us, you know, so we're happy.
Now, I hesitate to ever inject politics, but obviously if the U.S. were to pull out of the World Trade Organization, the U.S. were to be able to raise tariffs on more than just steel for China, this could present a world trade problem for PPG.
Well, it would be a trade problem. Hopefully it won't happen. But don't forget, we have a local business. We make locally, we buy locally, we sell locally. We have plants in 70 different countries around the world. And so for us, you know, it's still a local business. Paint is not being disintermediated by the internet. So we're going to continue to function, but obviously it's not good for the economy, and it wouldn't be overall good for our suppliers.
Okay, we're all used to you being in there buying back stock, but you said up front you had to fully fund your portion of an asbestos trust. That's an old legacy thing, but that previously announced cash deployment of $2 billion to $2.5 billion would be coming up and accelerating in the second half. That means that we're back thinking that maybe in the second half PPG's in there buying stock like they've done for many, many years.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. As you know, last year we bought back over $750 million of stock. We bought back $150 million in Q1. We were out of the market in Q2 because of asbestos. Q3 and Q4, that's the 2 quarters we generate the most amount of cash. We'd rather do acquisitions, but we're not going to let cash sit on the balance sheet. So if there's an opportunity, we will be out there buying back stock. And that commitment of $2 to $2.5 billion, we actually told people in the latest call that we would be at the upper end of that range.
One last question. Just the overall paint market in the United States, Mexico, pretty darn strong, right? Fewer players, still just a kind of a good market for just house paint.
Yeah, the U.S. market is the most consolidated market in the world. Canada's consolidated. Now with Mexico, our great acquisition of Comex consolidated. I mean, Comex had a great quarter again. They grew at more than twice GDP, which is a commitment that we made. And we're going to continue. And it's been a good business for us, both in the U.S. as well as Mexico.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Michael Bulgari, President and CEO of PPG Industries. Sounds like business as usual, and I like business as usual at this company. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim. It's been great talking to you again.
Company's going to be in there buying back stock. The quarter was really terrific. I like PPG. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.